guys, this video will show you how to install the Annitori Pro Quickshifter module on the Yamaha R3. To do so, please watch my how to remove a gas fuel tank video, and the link is on the top right corner. Once you have the fuel tank looking like this, you will need to remove these two bolts here and here. Those are 8mm sockets or 8mm wrench. Those are the ignition coils. I have one of the ignition coils slightly removed. Now we need to find, according to the instructions, the common wire. So in this case, the common wire is going to be the red and the black one on both coils. Do not remove the other wire that is orange and gray with red in it. Just the wire that goes to both coils that's black and red. So in my case, the wire for the right coil that we need to remove was on the left side, and the wire for the left coil was on the right side. Both of them, once again, black wire and red wire, not the other wire that is different, not the orange and the gray one. The next step is getting your wiring out from the Annitori box. Just look at this full screen and connect it like they show us here. Okay, so this is what I have so far. The right side coil, I'm gonna make it my first coil according to the picture. I have removed their common wire that was part of the bike originally. I put the black wire on top of the piggyback here, and then connected the piggyback on the common wire on the first coil. I'm gonna call that one the right coil. Now I'm left with one connector here, and one yellow here. The yellow wire goes to the disconnect that we made on the original wire, and there's going to be an end left like this. The wire that came off of the piggyback line here, this one, is going to go to our second coil over here where we made the disconnect. Okay, so I've connected the piggyback wire from the first coil into the connector we removed in the second coil. The connector we removed, this one, will not be used. So just get electrical tape and tape it up. We don't need that right now. Now on this side, you should be left with a black wire and a yellow wire. I will go to these two wires. In the picture, it shows the black wire will go to the blue wire here, and the yellow wire will go to the yellow wire. And that wire will connect to the connector that's on the Quickshifter module here. When you have those last two connectors connected, route your wire somewhere that way, and make sure you just connect a small zip tie there to secure it in place. You can use as many as you want. Now we're going to put the coils back in its place and screw them with their bolt that was originally there. Okay, what you want to do is route your wire all the way on the right side of the motorcycle and bring it somewhere over here. You want that connector accessible. The reason is they also provide you with this little jumper. So in case your Quickshifter breaks for whatever reason when you're riding around somewhere, all you have to do is disconnect this from the module here. I'm going to put it there, and connect this jumper to this side, and now your bike is going to be back to how it was stock. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to take off any panels. You don't have to take your fuel tank off. So side of the road, disconnect this, connect this. You're on the way again. Now I'm going to start reassembling the fuel tank. I'm going to put the fuel tank on. I will put the two bolts here and here. Okay, so it's getting a little dark and a little cold. So I put the tank back on. Before I go any further, I want to make sure that the bike is working the way it should be without the Quickshifter connected so far. So I've disconnected this and put the jumper on, and let's see if it turns on. And okay, so everything is as it should be. At least my connections at the coils work. And let's test the gears and see. So I got the clutch down. Okay, so I have my stand on, but yeah, it works as it should. I'm going to turn that off. The next step is going to be to replace this rod by adding the Quickshifter sensor module here, routing the cable for that here, and that's going to connect to this connector. It's only going to go to one connector, so it's not that big of a deal. These two connectors are the power for this module. The red is obviously the hot wire and the black is ground. So what I want to do is I want to connect the power, the ground, I'm going to connect it to the battery, and the hot wire, I'm going to find something on the motorcycle that only turns on when the motorcycle is on. So I don't want to connect it directly to the battery, because that way I don't drain the battery. If I don't use the bike for 2 months, it's not going to happen in the summer, but if I don't use it for 2 months, I'm not going to just drain the battery because that module is on all the time. So I think one good power supply for that is going to be the tail light, the light for the number plate. So I'll see how I can do that, but for now I'm gonna come back tomorrow. So guys, just a short break from my video. This is what my backyard looks like right now. Beautiful sunset, clear skies. It's kind of cold, but it looks beautiful. Okay, day 2. We left off at putting the tank back together and routing the wire through here. This is the module. I need to connect the power. For now, I think I'm just going to connect it to the battery for a test drive later. And next step is to mount the sensor onto the shift rod area. To do that, we'll have to take the shift rod off and take these two little threaded screws or whatever you want to call it. It's not really, there's no head on it. We'll put that one on this side and one on this side, and one side will go on here and the other side will go over here. And our goal is to make this angle as 90 degrees as possible and this angle as close to 90 degrees as possible. So I'm going to begin by taking this off, but to do that you'll have to remove this first so we can actually get the shift rod out. So I'm going to take this off. It's a 10mm wrench. Okay, so once you loosen that, you can also loosen this nut that was locking this shaft in place. Same thing on this side, and then you can just turn it so that it comes out. Remember where your shifter position was? Mine was about here, so you can put it back where it was and then measure the 90 degree on this side from that position. So now that you have this off, you can take this shaft right out and we'll replace it with the sensor plus its 2 screws. Okay, so the idea is similar. You want to put these 2 small screws that come with the sensor into the 2 holes and thread them in. Put the 2 nuts that come with that and thread those in. And you want to keep your shaft length about the same. Right now the sensor one is a little bit shorter, but that's okay. We can adjust it at the bottom down there. Okay, so that's what it should end up looking like. This side is actually the opposite thread. I think it's called the right hand thread. This is your normal thread and this side is the opposite thread. So it comes with 3 different bolts. Your normal, your another normal, and your opposite thread. So if your bike, R3 obviously is going to need a different thread here, and either way it's included. So even if you have a normal bike, you would put this here. If you have this thread, you put this one in here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change that jumper back on this side to do the proper command of the Quickshifter. I'm going to connect this to the battery temporarily to turn the bike on and see if it actually works. Okay, so I'm assuming these guys aren't retarded, and the battery is 12 volts. So I'm assuming the unit is also 12 volts. If it's not, then I'm going to end up blowing it up. Hopefully they're smart enough to make it 12 volt, because they do give you these connectors to connect it here. Black wire goes to the ground on that side, the black wire there. The red wire goes on the red side here. Okay, so the battery terminal is connected and this thing didn't blow up, so looks like it's good. Next, you'll need to get your phone out and download the Annitori Quickshifter Pro app. I think right now it's available on Android and Apple. So next, they say turn the bike on first, so I'm going to do that. Make sure your bike is in neutral, your stand is up. Bike is up. I don't feel any heating going on. Now turn the app on. If you see that screen, that means your app is starting up at the beginning. Now hit the scan button. You should see the QS Pro listed there. Select it. Do not press close. If you close it, it kills the process. So press the button. Then press read. So once you press read, you should see some values here. I don't know how blurry the screen is, but you should see some sensitivities and values there. Make sure your push and pull are both enabled. That means you can upshift and downshift at this time. The RX value should always be 18. Do not change that. You can change the kill millisecond time to determine how long the engine power is cut. Sensitivity is how sensitive the pull is or push is on that for it to activate the quick shift. The higher the number, the more sensitive it is, which means if you are on a bumpy road, the higher the number, the more easily it's going to get detected even if you didn't press the button. So if the sensitivity of 10 means low sensitivity, which means you have to press really hard. So it depends how you like it. I'm going to test it out with 80 and 85 right now. So now I'm just going to press the upload button. Upload complete. If I press the red read button and it's already at those numbers, which means it's already in there, but either way. So now I'm going to clutch in, put it in first, let the clutch out. So you can see the wheel is spinning, no clutch, my hand is here. Upshift into second, upshift into third, there we go. Fourth, fifth, sixth, now I'm going to downshift. No clutch used. Okay, so turn the engine off, and I think our preliminary test has been successful. Now I think I'm going to tidy this up and install a seat and go out for a ride. Okay, so it turns out that the module is not actually on when the bike is off. I tried to connect to it from my phone when the bike is off. It's not connecting, so that means I can leave it at the battery. I don't need to find another solution. It'll only turn on when the bike is on, unless it's not actually searching, but I think they would have done it properly and it only turns on when the bike turns on. So thanks for checking out my video on the installation for the Annitori Quickshifter. You should consider subscribing if you want to see the next video about installing the Rearset risers.